Welcome to Stories with a Twang. I'm Nathan. Today's episode is called At Wick's End by NomNomNomNation. As a child, I'd call it the flicker. There's one in all of us, glowing and glimmering in the most beautiful way. No two are exactly the same. Each is unique to the person. They move like fire and shine like stars. I can recognize someone before they even enter the room, as I see their energy dancing through the walls. The only person I ever spoke to about this was my grandpa. I'd see him every day after school since my mother would still be at work. We'd talk for hours about everything, but I'd often bring the conversation back to the flickers. It never confused him, we just spoke about it like it was normal. He would smile and listen to my stories, and I'd smile whilst telling them. I loved the way he would ask me questions and show a genuine interest. I always looked forward to finishing school so that I could see him. Something my grandpa was known for was giving advice that nobody asked for. You always needed it though, even if you didn't realize it. There's one particular piece of advice that has always stuck with me. Stay clear of graveyards. A soul of the dead was left here for a reason. He always believed that the flickers were souls, although I never thought the same until recently. I reminded him that I only had seen the flicker inside of living people, but he already knew. He told me that I should be prepared for if things ever change. I loved him so much, he always thought about how things change and always had a plan for if they did. I miss him. I was there when he passed away last month. He had been sick for a few weeks, going in and out of the hospital, but he never let it change him. Right until the last day, he was always his usual self, making us laugh, talking nonstop, and giving advice. He had a wisdom-esque charm about him, like he always knew more than you realized. His gift was being able to prepare anyone for anything. The one thing he could prepare nobody for was his death. We all knew it would happen eventually, and we were by his side when it did. He didn't say much in his final few hours, but right before he closed his eyes for the final time, he looked at me with confidence. It was as if he wanted to pass his confidence on to me before going. The hardest part, and the part that cemented my belief in the flickers being souls, was watching his disappear. It didn't happen fast. This was not akin to a candle being blown out. It shrunk slowly as it got faintly dimmer by the second. It was like a flame burning to the end of its wick, finishing a life fully lived. It was about the only thing that gave me comfort at that time, knowing that his fire burnt out rather than being extinguished. Over the past month, my connection to the flickers has diminished. It happened slowly at first. I would notice them getting fainter every day. Yesterday, I looked in the mirror and saw no flicker at all. No flame through the walls, no glowing on the streets. I could no longer see them. I could no longer feel them. I felt lonely, as if I could no longer truly connect with anyone. Nobody even knew it, but I was going through another loss. I did something I thought I would never do. I visited a graveyard. I had to see my grandpa's grave. I made my way down that night. It was completely empty, not a person in sight. I'm not just saying that because I couldn't see any souls. I thought that was the case too, but then I had a proper look and I was truly alone. As I approached my grandpa's grave, I looked longingly at the stone and the dirt. It was hard to believe he was really gone. Hey, the flickers are all gone. I can't see them anymore. I paused as if waiting for a response. None came. I don't know what it means, but I wanted you to know. I paused again. It happened around the time you left. I wanted to, oh God. My speech broke as I started to tear up. I didn't know what I was doing there, and I felt like going had been a stupid idea. Just then, as my silent cry grew into a loud one, I noticed a faint glowing in the ground of a nearby grave. Then 2, then 4, then more. The dirt all began to light up with flickers beneath. Many graves remained dark, my grandpa's included, yet many were shining bright. The flickers floated gently into the air, eye level with me. There were easily 100 of them, probably more. Each began to circle around me. Their gentle glows were so beautiful, and I felt that they could sense my connection. They knew I could see them. They shone differently to living souls, slightly darker. Their flames flickered and danced more than I was used to. I should have listened to my grandpa, but I realized it was all too late. My eyes were too busy watching their movements to realize that a flicker had moved into my head from behind. I noticed my mind become fuzzy, as if I could hear the soul's own thoughts. "We made your grandpa sick." The sentence was so disgusting I almost couldn't process it at all. "We can do the same to you." I fell to the ground, causing the flicker to leave my head. I could think clearly again, and I noticed they had all stopped moving. They were just waiting to find out what I would do. Whilst linked with that flicker, I could almost feel their wants and motives. They wanted to control my body, to use me. I don't know what for, but I could feel that they wanted my mind empty to use it for themselves. I was just a vessel for them to get control of. Is this why they killed my grandpa? To have access to a vacant body? I ran away, leaving the graveyard behind. They didn't seem to follow me. I can only assume that they have to stay close to their physical body. I passed a few people as I ran through the streets, each still without a flicker. I could not see living flickers anymore, only those of the dead. I'm so used to identifying people by their souls that I almost bumped into people several times. I couldn't go home after that. I needed to sit with someone I trusted, so I went to my mother's place. My plan was to gently open up to her about my ability and tell her everything. Once I got there, I knocked on the door, but in all the panic, it took me a moment to notice that I could see a flicker through the wall. It came closer as I heard the lock turn and watched the door open. My mother was standing there, the glow coming from within her. She spoke. "Didn't we tell you what we could do to you?" We stared at each other expectantly. They were waiting for my reaction, but I didn't have one. I was frozen, locked up with fear, unable to react. "Your mother was kind enough to drop by her dad's grave earlier. Isn't that nice?" I let my anger show through my fear. "Get out now!" As my passion for protecting my mother rose, I noticed a second glow inside of her. Looking down, my own flicker had also returned. I could see them through all the houses on the street. These were living flickers. They shone like stars. I stared at my mother's. It was as bright as always, yet ever so small. The flicker of the dead was seemingly extinguishing what was left of my mother. I felt a burning deep inside of me, noticing my own flame larger than ever. I watched as it slowly left my body and grew closer to my mother's soul. They danced and intertwined, sharing their strength, igniting each other. Her fire grew stronger until it had fully engulfed the dead flicker possessing her. She collapsed to the floor as my own soul returned to me. I could see clearly that the soul inside of her was once again her own. Her own flicker, shining bright, told me that she was alive. I got her into bed and sat downstairs. I questioned to myself whether my ability is a gift or a curse. All I knew is that I wanted to ask my grandpa. He would know just what to do. Just then, my phone rang. Grandpa? Alright everyone, that's it for this week's story. I would like to give a giant thank you to NomNomNomNation for another incredible story. If you enjoy their stories, you can find them over on Reddit at NomNomNomNation. If you have any stories you would like me to read on the show, you can send them over to storieswithatwang at gmail.com. The show is on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Stories with a Twang Podcast. It would mean an awful lot if you could rate and review the show wherever you listen, and don't forget to share with your friends and family as well. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and until next time, remember that a little twang goes a long way.